Hey guys, what's up? Chris Super here. Today we're going to be looking at the solo from He-Man Woman Hater by Extreme. It is an absolute doozy, but I love this song. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is E flat standard, which goes E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and another E flat. So get yourself in tune, and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's take a look at the first section. We're going to start off with this little pentatonic phrase. So we're kind of in the E minor pentatonic. I know I'm half a step down, but the terminology, I guess, we'll just talk about in terms of standard tuning. So I've got this hammer on from 12 to 14 on the third string, and then I reverse down this minor triad from 12 of the second string. I'm playing 12 of the second, 12 of the third, and 14 of the fourth. That's going to sound like this. At the end of that, big sexy bend on 15 of the second string. I bend to the top, and then I'm going to add my vibrato from there. Then it goes. So we're going to bend that 15 down, then go to 12. At the end of that, I'm going to be playing 14, 12 twice on the third string. All together. Now working to this phrase. It's a little bit sort of slashy or AC/DC. I've got a bend from 14 of the third string, and then I'm going to have the pinky underneath that, but that's kind of sustaining through that phrase. At the top of that bend, after I've hit the pinky, I'm going to bend down and then pull off to 12. At the end of that, I've got another 14, 12. So that whole phrase again. Let's try and put that with the other phrase. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm going to bend 14 up and down on the third string. Then I want to play 12 of the third and then 12 of the fourth. Let's have a look at everything from the start now. One thing you will notice if you're bending with a Floyd Rose, you might find that that 15th fret of the second string flattens a little bit when you do a bend on a different string. So please try to ignore that when I do it, and don't get too upset at yourself. It happens on your guitar if you are Floyd Rose inclined. So we've got when I work into this phrase. So this is still pentatonic-y, but I've got this, which is sort of that Dorian major 6 from that C sharp, or the however we want to look at that. It's the 14th fret of the second string. So I'm going to work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to do a hammer on from 12 to 14 again on the third string, jumping to 15 of the second string, and then I want to play 12 of the third, 14 of the second. Then I play 12 to 15 again. So all together, that's going to end on 12 of the third string. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to lead from that Dorian major 6 from 14 of the second string. I'm going to hit that twice, but the second time I hit it, I'm going to bend in and out until we pull off to 12. From that point, jumping to 14 of the third. At the end of that, I'm going to do a double hit on 12 of the second string, and then pull off from 14 to 12 on the third string. That's going to sound like this. So from the start of that phrase now, we should have this. Let's have a look at the whole thing from the start, and there's just one more little lick that finishes off the section. Hopefully that's all making sense. This next bit is super quick. The idea and the stretch is quite annoying. I have found that when I'm practicing this and I'm not warmed up, my pinky will lock. That's just my story. You don't need to worry about that. I'm playing an open 7/12 hammer-on the 6th string. And I'm going to go down on that. I'm going to do the same thing on the 5th string and then play the 4th string. But my picking pattern is going to go down, down, up, down, down, up. I'm going to keep that all the way through. And we're going to work through this idea in groups of 3. So I'm doing the 6th string, 5th string, 4th string. And then I do the next 3, which is 5, 4, 3. Then the next 3, which is 4, 3, 2. And then the next 3, which is 3, 2, 1. So I'm just doing exactly the same hammer-on group idea, just 3 strings at a time. Nice and simple. It is a big stretch, but the actual math of it and the idea is quite simple. So that's the whole first section. Let's do that again at a gentleman's pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Let's have a look at the second section. This is dealing with all of those tapped arpeggios, very reminiscent of what occurs in Get the Funk Out, if you know that song or that solo of these kind of arpeggios. So what I want to do is talk about what's actually going on. There's 6 arpeggios in total, and I'm essentially doing like a major triad with a string skip, which is this. But I'm also adding in the major second, which is this. Root, major second, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd. Now, obviously, there's some taps that go with that, but that's the general idea of sort of the outline, the skeleton of each of those arpeggios. So what I'm doing is I'm essentially playing an E add 9 from 14 of the 4th string. I'm going to be playing 14, 16, and then 13, 16 on the 3rd string. And then I play 12, 16 on the 1st string. So all together, we're going to have this. Now, this isn't exactly what's played in the song just yet. I just want to give you the shapes, and then we'll add the tapping and the phrasing in later. So I'm going to have an E major 9, and then I'm going to have a B major 9. That starts from fret 14 of the 5th string. We're going to end up with this shape. The next arpeggio I deal with is going to be a D major 9. And I've got an A major 9. Okay, then the next one I've got is a C major 9. And then a G major 9. So all together. Nice and predictable. I think it's kind of like 5th jumps. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the tapping that goes with it. So for the first idea, what I've got is this on the left hand. And my tapping hand is going to be going 21, 21, and then 19. So we're going to go like this. It's a relatively simple idea, and we're establishing with that tap. So when I reverse that, I'm going to do that tap that goes forward, and then I'm going to tap it again, but then reverse what's going on my left hand. So I'm going to go tap, 12, 16, tap, 16, 12 like this. All together. Okay, from that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of do a hammer on from nowhere to the 3rd string, and then do a tap. And then pull off back to that 13th fret. So I've got... And then I'm going to end on a hammer-on from nowhere to that sort of major second, or that 9th add 9 sound that we had before. So all together, we're going to have something like this. That goes together nearly exactly the same twice. I just don't add the 9th at the end of the second one. Now, the reason why I think he leaves that out is just to get into position for the next idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the B major 9 arpeggio, and this one's going to go 21, 21, 19 as well. So basically, I'm just copy-pasting that idea. So all we need to do is treat E major 9 and B major 9 the same. The next thing that I've got is D major 9 into A major 9, and it's pretty much the same idea on the D major 9. I'll play that for you. I've got my left hand going like this, and my tapping hand's going to be going 19, 19, and 17. Notice I'm not ending on the 9, I'm just ending on that pull off to the 3rd string. When I go to the A major 9, this time though, there's going to be a slight variation. I've got that kind of roll at the end with the 3 notes there. So the first half of the A major 9 is going to be the same. My left hand's doing this. My taps are still going 19, 19, 17. Notice how I'm ending on that major 2nd. And then this time, instead of going up to the 4th string, I'm going to do a tap on 19 and then just do this 3-fingered roll going 14, 12, 10 on the 2nd string. Hopefully that's all making sense. So we should have 4 arpeggios now. I'll play them a little bit slower. Okay, then I have the C major 9 into the G major 9. So the C is going to be exactly the same as what we've seen before. You'll notice the things that are occurring on the D, the G, and the E string are all pretty much identical. So when I go to the C major 9, I'm going to have this on the left hand, and my tapping hand is going to be playing 17, 17, 15. If I put that all together, ending on that pull off without the 9. Now when I get to the G, I go into this phrase. I don't finish off that arpeggio, and I want to end on that big sexy bend on the 15th fret of the 2nd string. So that one's going to go nice and slow. Ending on the 9. So when I've done that hammer on with the tap forwards and backwards on the 2nd string, I'm going to end on that pull off, and then end on a sexy bend from 15 to the 2nd. So we've got 6 arpeggios all together. I'll go through them again at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at the last section. We're going to work into this phrase. Let's take our time with that. So I'm going from the 15 bend from the previous section, and then I'm going to be playing just down the pentatonic. I'm playing 12 with the 1st string, a pull off from 15 to 12 on the 2nd, and then I'm landing on that cheeky flat 5 on the 3rd string. At the end of that, I'm going to be playing 12 with the 2nd, then hammering 14 to 15 on the 3rd. Once again, we're really leaning on that flat 5. Now, after I've hit 12 with the 2nd string, I'm going to hit that 2 more times. And I've got a cheeky bend from that flat 5. I'm really overusing that term, I'm sorry. 15 of the 2nd string, and then I've got 3 more picks on that 12 of the 2nd. So it goes. Then I've got another bend from 15 of the 3rd string into 12 of the 1st. So altogether we've got... So I've got 2 notes a bend, then 3 notes, then a bend. And that just resolves on 1 more of those 12. So from the start of that whole section, we've got... Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I like having a little bit of a squealed harmonic accent to this. I just think it's sexy. I'm playing 14, 15, 14, 12 on the 3rd string. And that's all rolled legato, and then I will resolve that on 14 of the 4th string. At the end of that. So what I'm doing there A slight vibrato on 14 of the 3rd string, eventually pulling off to 12 and then jumping to 14 of the 4th string. So let's slow this down a little bit. At the end of that, that's the whole thing. So I'm just working down the pentatonic there as well. I'm doing a pull off from 14 to 12 on the 4th string. And I'm doing a slide from 14 to 12 on the 5th string, pulling off to 10. At the end of that, sexy bend up and back from 12 of the 5th string. That's the whole last section. Let's do that again slowly from the top, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from He-Man, Woman Hated by Extreme. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want tabs to this lesson and anything else that I've done, please join up to the mailing list. You'll get all kinds of extra content like tabs, special offers, transcriptions, heaps of fun stuff. I also have multiple books out at the moment, my latest being 100 Classic Metal Licks for Guitar. Very, very proud of this one. I also have other books on modes and improvising if you want to check those out, as well as multiple courses on chrissuper.com and Udemy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson, and I'll catch you all very soon.